Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Band from Ringside.
Tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast, it's our big Wrestlemania preview show. We also might talk about the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. We got New Japan Cup Finals, AEW Dynamite, and my hype man is here. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast.
About to say, Zack, your spot might be in suspect trouble.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Marks, and welcome to the Band from Ringside podcast. I'm your host, Bill Vagey, as always, a.k.a. Cadillac Coupe the Bill. And sitting to my left, as always, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
I think it's made it even better because Vice is sitting here and you can literally see my genuine reaction every time he comes up. I've stopped taking drinks before he does it because usually it's so good.
It's a spit take.
Yeah, it's a spit take. So this way, I just look down, I hear it, and it gets the instant, genuine reaction. So on that lovely note, I will ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition from the Band from Ringside Podcast, Volume 2, Nickel O, Chapter 3, Verse 14, and the good smart saying, hashtag boo the heels. It is all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat the holy trinity of BFR. I'm a little hyped up. The Red Bulls kicked in. We're going to talk a little WrestleMania, New Japan, Triple H, a whole shebang. Let's get it going.
And sitting to his left and to my right, we have special guest in the house tonight. I've known him since I was about, 8 years old. We weren't really friends until we were 14, but now we're brothers. That's my man, Vice.
How's it going, BFR family? Good to be here. Excited to be around.
It is good to have you. Vice is, he's not as caught up on all the wrestling, but like I said, he's the hype man, so he's just going to bust in every once in a while when he's got a little funny joke. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to pull that mic straight up to you and just let the people have it. We are coming at you from my living room in sleety, cold St. Charles. Well, it was sleeting earlier at least.
Okay,
I mean, it's cold outside. We're back to winter, I guess. I mean, that was a nice spring, summer, and fall. Everything was cool. Two Beer Zack had to be away from work. He said he was going to give us his predictions, and guess what? He didn't. So
Good job, Two Beer.
Vice is going to be giving his predictions. Vice is going to be giving Zach's predictions. I mean, I'm saying it right now.
Play it as we go. It's gonna be good.
Just bomb it all to make us feel better.
I guess. Well, let's talk about STL versus the World at Grandel. Jason, hit him with the date.
It is the 30th of April, I believe. The doors open at 5, and the match starts at 6 o'clock Central Standard.
And your BFR friends will be there. Even Vice is going to be there. It's his birthday show, pretty much.
Oh, we got a bunch of seats.
Oh, yeah, we got a bunch of seats.
It is on.
It's going to be a ton of fun. It is at the Grandel in
Yes.
St. Louis, Missouri. Oh, my God. And the baby just starts crying. Hopefully the baby will stop crying here in a second. Without further ado, let's get to that. 3 count.
Awesome.
I was about to say, that shit ain't going to happen. I was about to say.
All right, JCB, kick it off.
And the May going to be rolling with us for the next couple hours. I'm calling it now. We're going to start a little differently this week. We're going to jump to the New Japan Cup. The semifinals and the finals of the New Japan Cup happened on the 26th and 27th. For me personally, you had Naito versus Okada in the first semifinal match. Naito surprisingly goes over in another roll-up where he reversed the move on Okada and rolled him up to advance to the finals, where he ends up facing one Zack Saber Jr. with an amazing submission coming off the top rope as Shingo was falling off the top rope. Zack Saber Jr. was on his back. They both fall down, and it looked like for a second Zack wasn't going to be able to put the rear naked choke back on Shingo. He slaps it on and taps Shingo out, which is, to me, tapping Shingo Takagi out is just something to be said.
Well, he didn't tap him. He passed out, right? It was a referee stoppage.
Okay, even more so, like, protecting Shingo. So you had obviously now Zack Sabre Jr. versus Naito in the final, both former New Japan Cup winners. Obviously, the winner gets Okada coming up. So my thought was, with Naito just beating Okada recently, I couldn't see them going right back to that. Now, that said, I do love me some Zack Sabre Jr., so this was me being, as a personal mark, being torn. As the match went along, I saw myself getting more and more invested in, hoping that Naito would win. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Zack Sabre Jr. does win his second New Japan Cup off of a tornado DDT. Very nice, very sweet. I don't know if anybody watched the backstage comments, which was the best part of the whole thing for me. ZSJ is saying that he had passed out or blacked out, at one point during the match. And he had said that he was having a conversation with Prince and George Michael. And George Michael came to him, or he came to George Michael and was saying that, what should I do now? And he's like, you should try this move or whatever. He's like, I tried it the last time and it didn't work, So George Michael was like, well, why don't you try the Zack driver? And he's like, oh, the Zack driver? He's like, yeah, Zack driver. So, if you get a chance, I would definitely say go and take a sneak peek at the backstage interview with Zack Sabre Jr. I've always said he's kind of underrated as a promo, and this kind of resonates with that a little more. All in all, at the end of the day, I really think that they made the right call with having Zack Sabre Jr. go over. It sets up Okada and Zack Sabre Jr. coming up on, I believe, the 9th of April. ZSJ hasn't had a chance at the title since he won the last New Japan Cup. I believe that was 2 or 3 years ago. So in this scenario, it makes sense. Like I said, Naito with a great run, a boatload of roll-ups. Destino did come into play in the finals, but it just didn't. It wasn't meant to be, and that's okay. As like I said, as a Naito guy, I always want him to win, but I have no problem with Zack Sabre Jr. taking his second New Japan Cup.
Not at all. And I love Zack Sabre Jr., especially going over Naido here, because Naido's your boy. Zack Sabre Jr. is my boy. And I took a little bit of extra glee. What, is Naido not your boy?
It's funny how all of a sudden Zack Sabre, not all of a sudden, but if I wouldn't have been pounding the pavement about how great Zack Sabre Jr. was, you would have never even been converted over to
That's
Zack
4
Sabre
years
Jr.
old, though. I mean,
Yes.
You're still pounding the pavement on it? You can't say it
Brodus
anymore.
Clay. That and Brodus Clay will never die.
I admitted that I was wrong. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Shingo Takagi was an absolute masterclass in psychology. The story being that Shingo was too cocky. He was too cocky against Chase Owens. He said he was going to beat Chase Owens in under 5 minutes. Chase Owens ended up fucking him up, losing the match ultimately, but fucking up his neck and
leaving him vulnerable to.
And Zack Sabre Jr. used that in the match to his advantage by taking out Shingo Takagi, by making him. It looked like he wasn't going to be able to. Shingo had that little hope spot where it looked like he was going to break out of it, and then nope.
Snatched it back up.
Naido, Okada have fought so many times. This wasn't as good as either one of their Wrestle Kingdom matches. I don't think it was supposed to be.
No.
But it's still, we're talking about a super high bar here when we're talking about Okada versus Naido.
Well, anytime Okada comes out, the expectation level kind of rises a little bit. Even against CIMA, I thought CIMA was arguably the MVP of the entire tournament. When he had matches, those matches were must-watch matches. But against Okada, it kind of seemed a little flat for whatever reason. And that's not a knock against CIMA. Just, Okada is just that great. I expect more for every match from every opponent that he faces. So in that scenario, it wasn't as good as the other matches I've seen, but it was still a good-ass match.
I think that I read that the last time that Zack Sabre Jr. won a match with the Zack driver, it was also against Naido in a G1. He doesn't pull it out very often. I think they said it was like 3 years ago.
There was a run where that was kind of like his finishing move, when it non-submission, obviously. I like I said, I didn't have a problem with this. It was a good match to where even though when it's a predictable finish, I want to enjoy the ride. It was an enjoyable ride.
Yes. You thought that Zack Sabre Jr. versus Naido was a predictable finish?
They just did Naido Okada for the title, a month and a half ago?
Were you surprised when Zack Sabre Jr. went over Shingo?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, because it was referee stoppage, like you said, and at that point, I was kind of thinking Shingo would at least make it back to the final, and then you would have...
And probably win the whole thing.
Yeah, and then you'd have... At that point, it was Naido had already advanced to the final, so you'd have an all LHA final. You go that route, you get Shingo, Okada, no problem with that either.
It was a great tournament.
No, overall, I thought it was really good. I know what you're going to ask me, so go ahead and ask me.
What am I going to ask you?
What was my favorite match of the tournament?
Oh, well, what was your favorite match of the tournament?
Ospreay versus Zack Sabre Jr.
I think that was really good. I think that my favorite match of the tournament was Hiromu Suzuki. Just because it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was different than a lot of other New Japan matches. I was very happy that with those last 3 matches, the Final 4 and the finals, very happy that they gave them enough time to tell their story, but they didn't overdo it. None of those matches needed to be 40 minutes.
No.
And they do have a problem sometimes with making big matches. It's like the 30-minute mark is like something that they're reaching for, and sometimes that's just too goddamn long.
Well, if you don't have guys like, who was it, Sonata and Hanare went over 30 minutes, okay? Neither one of those guys have enough charisma or character to carry that match that long. If you do Okada and Naito for 30 minutes, that's not even going to be an issue. That 30 minutes goes by fairly quickly, so I just think that it depends on who it is in the ring. That said, I agree. This was a tournament that I was looking forward to because it was the biggest tournament in New Japan history. It for the most part, it lived up to the hype.
Not a whole lot of upsets.
No, and that is what it is. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Kota Ibushi was definitely missed.
I heard that Kota Ibushi was their plan A to win before he got hurt.
Motherfucker.
Now, thank God. I mean, if Sabre Jr.'s your plan B, I mean, that's just such a fresher matchup.
No, I'm not.
And they probably want to get Ibushi back there because, he got hurt in the G1 final and he couldn't fight it. Yeah. But still, come on, let's get something fresh in there.
Look, like I said, Zack Sabre Jr. hasn't challenged for the title since he won the New Japan Cup last. He's been in Japan since the pandemic. He's speaking fairly fluent Japanese. So at this point, it's almost like he's being, I won't say rewarded, but, you've immersed yourself here. You're basically New Japan. So, let's throw this man a bone. Worst case scenario, he did beat Sonata, put him out. So he's got a U.S. Title championship match coming up. He beat Will Ospreay on the way, so he could challenge for the Rev Pro championship. So, I mean, there's options for
the other thing I wanted to say is that the crowd seems pretty sick of being a clap crowd, and this seems like we are maybe coming out of the COVID, knock on wood, the COVID doldrums, we'll call them, in New Japan, where it was hard for them. It's hard for New Japan.
There was a couple times where you knew that a big match, a big spot where usually you hear that the audible gasp or, like the start of the matches, you'll hear Okada, Okada. You don't get that. And that's, if there's anything that's missing, and I'm nitpicking a little bit because it's my promotion, so I'm just going to nitpick on it. I kind of miss it. It doesn't take away from the matches, but I do miss the crowd getting involved.
Well, the thing that it's hard for them to compete with an American audience that now has AEW when you're watching matches that are basically in silence. It's just not going to draw an American audience. With the crowds getting louder and with AEW's relationship with New Japan, hopefully we're turning a corner and there's going to be more eyes on it, and more eyes on New Japan, the better.
I'll say this. Those who want to watch will watch. I don't think that 2 or 3 years of crowd silence is going to dissuade people from watching. At this point, either you watch New Japan or you just don't watch it. There's not a gray area.
Well, that's not. I mean, the numbers don't bear that out. I know that's the way that it feels, but the numbers don't bear that out. They have lost an American audience big time since the pandemic started.
Okay, that's fair enough. I won't argue that point. I'll just, like I said, for me,
I have the numbers right in front of me. You want me to read them?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't have the numbers.
I was going to say, yeah, knock yourself out. I just think.
Oh shit! He called my bluff.
I just think that it's just people that New Japan is kind of a niche wrestling. It's like Joshi wrestling, things along those lines. You know, I watch obviously Stardom. They had their World Climax shows on the 26th and the 27th. There's not a lot of people that watch Stardom. I watch Stardom because I like it, and people, you know, hit me to it. So at that point, you know, I started to watch it. I got invested, so be it. If you're like a hardcore WWE guy, there's no way in the world you're watching New Japan, because that's the one thing that is complete opposite of what your core belief is.
Well, that's not who I'm talking about. I guess I'm talking about Ring of Honor fans that have now graduated over to AEW.
There was the Ring of Honor and New Japan have had a working relationship for quite some time, even way before the pandemic. So I would almost push back on that, just to say that if you watched Ring of Honor, you've seen LIJ, you've seen other guys that have come into the Ring of Honor promotion. So I'm just going to respectfully say you're full of shit.
And without further ado, and that was a whole lot of ado because I just put the baby in bed, let's get to that 2 counts.
1, 2, 3.
You act like there was some, like, you know, video camera with me and Vice over here bullshitting while you was putting Edna May down.
What do you mean?
You didn't have to say, you know, that length of time it, you know, lapsed or whatever. These guys don't know. It was like, what, 5 seconds?
I'm just a little peek behind the curtain, the magic of radio. That's all I'm trying to let them
pull
know.
that curtain back over, man. They don't need to see
all
everything.
Right. What did we say the 2 count was?
AEW.
Oh, yeah, AEW from last night. So, AEW had a decent show last night. I mean, it wasn't the banger that I'm usually used to. I know that I say a lot of I throw a lot of flowers at AEW, which is what the kids say. But I mean, I was thoroughly entertained the whole time. I did fall asleep in the main event, and that's not because it was Darby Allin. It's because I was fucking tired.
Man, you stole my joke. I was getting ready to say, "Gee, I wonder why."
I'm not gonna let you do that. I do want to. Let's talk about the first match here, which was CM Punk versus Maxcaster.
I saw your tweet.
I put this on Twitter last night. I used to be really anti-claimed. Like, I never really liked him that much. And after getting to know him for a year, I think I hate him even more. I cannot. I don't know if it's go away heat. I don't know if that's what they're. I don't know if they're working on me. Like, are they supposed to be that annoying?
Yes, they're heels.
No, but like, it's not.
Every heel is different.
Well, then they're incredible heels, because I want to see them get their asses beat every time that they're out there.
Ding, 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 ding. Circle gets the square. Good job, Acclaimed.
That being said, both of them can work. CM Punk's reactions, their Maxcaster's rap coming down is so terrible. Now, I think that he actually thinks it's good, though. That's a kid that probably grew up watching Wild 'N Out. And he probably thinks that he said, CM Punk, you're not the voice of the voiceless. I talked to all the ladies. They said you're the voice of the moistless. That is a terrible, terrible lyric.
Truth be told, giggle my ass off.
No, you must have been. Okay, yeah. All right. What do you think about
this afternoon? Of course I was baked.
And then afterwards, CM Punk cut a promo and said he doesn't care who he faces. Before he leaves, he will be AEW World Heavyweight champion. Jason, what you think?
Love the Maxcaster rap. I'm sorry, that's just me. The match itself I thought was good. Once again, it kind of just shows Caster and Bowens in another good light. Both were put over strong on separate occasions.
Voice of the moistless?
Comedy Central, dog. Sorry, not sorry.
even if that means that CM Punk can't get a chick off, why would he be the voice of the moistless? They would be the voice of the moistless. Like all the women that he couldn't get off would be the voice of the moistless.
Are we really getting ready to debate this?
It just doesn't make any sense. I don't
It
know.
makes total sense because
I like
that
East
means
Coast
he doesn't
rap.
have any game.
I like East Coast rap. Go ahead.
You actually.
Biggie made sense.
Number one, he's not supposed to make sense. It's not supposed to be good. It's supposed to be bad. AF. Okay?
No, I don't think so. Go ahead, though.
I think so.
All
Okay.
right.
Anyway, I guess my point was going to be just going back to the Acclaimed. It just makes me want to see them be somewhere in the tag team division more prominent.
Didn't they say they're the number one contenders now or something?
Gun Club was the number one contender coming down to their match on Wednesday night. So you defend your promotional how they rank this nonsense after they lost the title match to Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. How you gonna stay number one? You act like that shit was a draw.
No, you're
Okay.
right. Thoughts on CM Punk's claiming it? Like, who do you think that CM Punk's first title match is going to be?
That's the question. Are they going to run back Cole versus Page, which feels seemingly more likely? I don't think.
Well, that's on, though, right?
Have they announced it?
I think Cole versus Page is on. I don't know when it's on, but I think
Punk said next week. When on his promo after the match, he was like, next week we're gonna find out if I'm facing Adam Cole, baby, or am I gonna be looking down the barrel cowboy shit. So it sounded like it was next week, but they haven't announced. As far as I'm concerned, they haven't announced it officially.
So is this? Who do you think he's going to face? Actually, I don't want to know who you think he's going to face. That's not as much fun as who would you rather see him face. Would you rather see I'll give you three options.
Okay.
A babyface Punk versus a babyface Page.
Okay.
A babyface Punk versus heel Cole. Or a heel Punk versus a babyface Page.
Wow. All are good options. I
think there's one option
I want Page to go first. I want Adam Page to have the match against CM Punk first. I would go heel Punk versus face Page 1, face versus face 2, Cole versus Page 3.
Cole versus Punk 3?
Cole versus Cole versus Punk 3. Yeah, there you go.
Man, you give a stone guy too many options. This is what happens.
Shut your ass up.
Walking through a grocery store and looking at the chip aisle.
Oh, I know you ain't talking shit.
So, coming up next, we had MJF and FTR. Now, you talk about giggling. When FTR, who are clearly turning babyface, when they say, Wardlow was friends with us, we're friends with you, don't bring us into the middle of it. And MJF goes, I didn't want to tell you guys. Wardlow talks shit about you guys all the time. That made me laugh.
Okay, exactly. I was just like, it did take MJF 30 seconds. He's like, you know what? I didn't want to tell you guys, but you boys talking shit about.
And he's got comedic chops too.
Totally.
That's how Zack acts around about you guys.
Oh, I bet that is a 2-beer thing. I believe that.
Shit talking motherfucker.
Lethal versus Moxley.
I guess this once again. Predictable match. You knew who was going to win. How do we get there? I don't know if Jay Lethal is turning or is going to turn heel or what their plan is. It's hard for me to kind of watch what they're doing with Jay Lethal and not have a little bit of a problem with it. Jay Lethal is one of and it's not even a color issue. This is just the Jay Lethal, the wrestler issue. No, it truly is. If I wanted to make it a color issue, I think like everybody know I would just say flat out, the black man's getting held down.
Mm-hmm.
I'll hold that for Santana Ortiz here in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Lethal was brought in. He's been Ring of Honor champion. He's been TV champion. He held both titles at once at the same point. Plenty of accolades for Jay Lethal. So he comes over, and I'm thinking, okay, he'll be somewhere towards the top of the card, upper mid card, whatever you want to call it. Challenge for the TNT title, maybe get that, then, be in the world title picture at some point. He's been on Dark Elevation 10 times. 10 times. I don't understand why Jay Lethal is on Dark Elevation and not on Dynamite. I think like I said, I think his accomplishments speak for themselves. And I'm thinking if they turn Jay Lethal heel, then what? I don't see an end game for him turning heel. It sounds like the good idea because it's our usual solution. Okay, this person's not working. Oh, let's flip him heel or babyface. If you flip Jay Lethal heel, I don't see him going any further than where he's going right now.
I don't think that you could be any more off about this, to be honest.
Okay.
First of all, I heard he's taking some time off because he's shooting G.I. Jane 2. That's a Will Smith, Chris Rock joke. Did you guys see what happened with Chris Rock and Will Smith?
Work or shoot?
No, that was a shoot. I don't care. Like, I saw Murray, man, putting shit up about how it's a work and everything. That Chris Rock was shook. And if you think that was a work, you've never seen Chris Rock act because he sucks at acting. There is no way he could have put it over that well. He was fucking shook. Now, maybe he wasn't in on it.
Right.
Maybe Will Smith knew what he was going to do.
Of course.
I doubt it. But Chris Rock was not in on it. Have you ever seen Chris Rock try to act? It is bad.
After the fact, when he was trying to, get back on track and he kind of stumbled over his words, that's where I thought,
he was shook.
Yeah, he got rocked, for lack of a better word.
He did.
And now he was trying to get back on track, and you could see him being obviously flustered.
I know that everybody's probably heard every single take possible about this. I just want to say that's the craziest motherfucking thing you'll ever see on live television. You will never see anything crazy. The only thing crazier that I saw on live television was the second plane hit the towers. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. And even that, I mean,
yeah. Okay.
I always knew the terrorists hated us. Like, I didn't know that Will Smith was going to smack somebody at the Oscars on the night he was going to win.
Okay, and if you want me to get racial for 30 seconds, here's me getting racial. When you got two prominent black men smacking the shit out of each other, that made me mad. With Jay Lethal being black and not being booked the way I want him to be, it's just me because I like Jay Lethal. That shit made me mad.
They should make a movie out of this with Jay Lethal starring as Will Smith.
He's the DJ, I'm the slapper.
All right, we got to keep going. I'm sorry. I listen, I think that you're wrong about this. I think that Tony Khan realizes that Jay Lethal, Jay Lethal was getting babyface lethal chants during a Jon Moxley match, which is almost impossible in AEW considering how over Jon Moxley is. The camera lingered on him after he lost for a while, which tells me that they're trying to tell a story with him losing a whole bunch. I think that he is set up for a big run. And, time will tell, and you can mark it down. And
I am.
You can tell me if I'm wrong.
Oh, no, I'm telling you, you're wrong.
I see, the thing is, I don't keep track of when you're wrong because I don't remember stuff after I get high, and you always get me high in the second hour of the podcast.
YP versus MP, your problem versus my problem.
What the fuck does that mean? Boogie Nights. Okay, so next up we had the Gun Club versus FTR, or as FTR calls them, the Ass Boys. That's really funny. The Gun Club versus FTR. FTR goes over. Wardlow comes down looking like an absolute $1 million, man. Just looking like a stud. Just fucking babyface. Oozing babyface charisma, man. Wardlow is such a star. I know this is like my fourth week in a row saying it, maybe more, but goddamn, the guy is a star.
When they had like the missing pictures on the guardrail, whatever, Sterling in the back putting up like the missing warning pictures or whatever the case may be. That's the little stuff that I like that just add fuel to the fire. So when Wardlow came in and is destroying AEW security, the poor table didn't even break when he powerbombed that one security guard. When the 15 or 20 guys held him up, that's when it really made the impact, where he looks and feels like a overwhelming powerhouse babyface that it almost feels impossible for him not to beat MJF and roll on through. The longer he stays away, the bigger babyface he's going to be. And when that match actually happens, game on. Double or nothing.
Yeah, we're talking... it's not going to be the main event, but it's got to be close to the main event.
with AEW, their pay-per-views are so freaking loaded, it's not going to matter where you put it on the card. People are going to want to see it.
Right. It's going to be the hour 6 main event, not the hour 8 main event. Jericho Appreciation Society. I guess those guys are growing on me. Those 2.0 guys.
I can't even name who they are, and you know who they are. Yeah, they're growing on you.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
It's Matt Lee, and I forget what the other guy's name was, but they abandoned those names now. Now they're going by their. Jericho said that when Jericho's. I know I already talked about this. When Jericho said we're not going by fake names anymore, we're going by his real name, and then he named both of them, and then he goes Chris Jericho. It's like Chris Jericho's his real name too. It's stupid.
Say, what the fuck?
But anyway, then they, LAX and Eddie Kingston they look like WWE baby faces there with, more balls than brains. They decided to go 3 at 5, and then so they were gone for a week, and then they come back to just get another beatdown. Didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
It made sense to me. That's what the Santana Ortiz do. They put Jericho over.
Oh, I see. Oh, so it's just the same old, huh?
SOS, baby. Until you show me otherwise.
I see. So this is the old Jason Undertaker take.
I'm not saying it's the Jason.
The Jason taker.
No. I'm not going to say that. Jericho has put guys over, okay? That I'm not saying that. I'm saying in this scenario.
Jericho put Fandango over.
Okay.
At Mania.
Okay.
With a leg drop.
Okay. And I'm still was like, what the fuck just happened? Who the fuck is this dude? So you can't say that Jericho doesn't put guys over. For this scenario, Santana Ortiz are the ass team out.
Who do you blame that on? Out of curiosity.
It's booking.
Tony Khan?
It's booking, yeah. So we got to start there.
So the buck stops there. Okay. Jade Cargill is going to fight. Please remind me of her name. Marina Shafir.
Wife of Roddy Strong.
I like Jade Cargill as a really confident fucking heel. I like her with the smarmy heel manager in Smart Mark Sterling, and him trying to give her the easy win, and she's like, fuck that. She's like, no, give me the hardest one you got. I like that in a heel character, and obviously Jade Cargill's got charisma for days and a look for fucking months.
It's good to see a heel that's not a chicken shit heel. Okay.
Yeah.
And then that scenario,
even better way to say it.
It's when heels get legitimate wins, it makes them more of a legitimate character, wrestler, however you want to call it. So when they do get a bigger win, it's not like, oh, Jade cheats all the time. If Jade wins matches legitimately when she beats your favorite, let's just say for the sake of argument, it's Thunder Rosa, you won't be like, oh, Jade shouldn't have won this match. They're building her up to get to the point where she'll drop the title to somebody else, and then you'll move her up, and hopefully she'll go after the AEW title.
If it seems like I'm rushing, it's just because AEW wasn't that big of a deal last night, and we got lots of predictions to get to. But I don't think, are we rushing?
Pretty
good pace.
Look, I don't see no fucking Putin around here.
Okay. Hold on, I'm going to go back and delete that. Okay, I deleted it. Let's get started again. Okay, so next up, I just want the listener to know that I didn't actually think I was deleting it. I'm not that big of an idiot. Actually, let's delete that. Did you notice that they're Adam Kolobebe and Red Dragon are calling themselves the Undisputed Elite? Is that new?
It was new as of yesterday, as far as
that's the first time I've ever heard it, right?
It's the first time I've heard of it.
You cool with that?
Not really. It's
I don't really
kind
like
of
it
too much Undisputed Era. I get it. It's Elite meets Undisputed Era, Undisputed Elite. I get it. Bucks, Omega.
I get it.
It just.
I get it.
I wish it was a little more original.
It's no Blackpool Combat Club.
No, it is not.
By the way, did you see the hoodie that Moxley wore?
I want it.
Oh, it's fucking badass, dude. That shit is fire.
That motherfucker must get copped.
But Paige came out too. So, I mean, we're getting Paige Cole again. I didn't remember them saying it was next week, though.
I'm pretty sure, because I watched it this afternoon, CM Punk said, I don't know what's going to happen after next week between Adam Cole, Bebe, or am I going to be facing the Barrel Cowboy shit? I'm pretty sure that's what he said. But like I said, they haven't made an announcement yet. If it was the case, you're not going to wait till Double or Nothing. I mean, I would think you'd want to end that feud and then start moving towards CM Punk to head towards Double or Nothing.
Looks like Thunder Rosa comes out and finally gets the promo that she probably should have had last week. Feels like they switched weeks.
Yeah. I was
like, why
the
not
same thing.
have her come out and cut a babyface champ promo and then this week have Nyla Rose attack her?
Ding!
But they did it backwards. Maybe they realized they fucked up.
Yeah.
But it was a good promo. She's a good babyface.
Nyla Rose's promo was even better. This is one of the times where I thought Vicky Guerrero could have sat that one out.
Nyla Rose's promo was good. I'm not sure I would ever have Vicky Guerrero sit out. What you paying her for?
No, just that one time for the promo on Dynamite, Vicky really didn't have to say anything. She set Nyla Rose up, but Nyla Rose was basically the star of that promo.
Do you think Vicky and Edge ever actually had sex?
Weird shit happens on the road. You get a little banged up, Edge looking good, Vicky looking good. I'll go with yeah.
Do you think that Vicky and Dolph ever had sex?
See example A.
Do you think Vicky and Nyla Rose have ever had sex?
I'm going to go ahead and say hard no. I think Nyla Rose's girlfriend might have a serious problem with that.
I'm not going to get myself in trouble for this one.
Not if she watched.
So we have
Brad Maddox up in
we have the Owen Hart Foundation. This is not just a women's tournament, is it?
It's men's and women's.
Okay, but we haven't had a men's match yet?
Next week.
Okay, so the first match was the Bunny comes out, and then we have yet another debut on AEW. Toni Storm comes out. Toni Storm, WWE, not missing on Toni Storm is going to be one of their biggest regrets of all the people that they missed on. Toni Storm is going to be, she is 26 years old or something. She's been around the world. She can wrestle. She's got a great look. She's got a great act. And them missing on Toni Storm they're going to regret that. Jason.
I really hope you're right. The first thing that I initially thought when she came out, it's kind of been a poorly kept secret.
Swing?
Well, it's always that. But how Excalibur put her over immediately, talking about her championships in Stardom, where she was World of Stardom champion, SWA champion. She won the Cinderella and 5-star tournaments, the only person to do it in one calendar year. He put her over way more than WWE main roster ever did in the time she was on
What
WWE.
is the Cinderella thing?
It's basically a tournament. The winner of the tournament gets the championship title opportunity, usually for the World of Stardom Championship. The fact that she won both of her main tournaments is a pretty big fucking deal. So,
And you're like Chris Rock. I set you up just to call you a nerd, and you're like, fuck that. I'm explaining the Cinderella tournament to you.
Okay, so you motherfucker. Here's your problem. So if I no sell it, you talk about me. If I laugh, you talk about me. You say no, you're not supposed to laugh. You're just supposed to no sell it. Okay, that's all.
Have I said that to you before?
Multiple times. So I do what you ask, and now you criticize me. Fuck you. I'm gonna be Antonio Brown up in this motherfucker. Run up out of here, get up out, nigga.
He's heating up.
Okay, no, you can have the whole podcast by yourself.
All right, my
do
bad.
my 2 hours by yourself. See how you like it.
Cold-blooded.
My bad. So, what do you think about Toni Storm in AEW?
I hope that they don't just kind of discard her in the sense where she gets a hot push and then all of a sudden she kind of disappears. The person I'm thinking of off the top of my head is Ruby Soho.
Don't say it. No, see, I saw this take on Twitter, and here's the difference between Ruby Soho getting a big push on television, on pay-per-views, and then being off TV for a while. A, they can make more money in the long run, probably, by, you know, how we've talked about how WWE should kind of have an off season for each guy. Like, each guy should just take 2 months off and come back because they'll come back fresh. People will want to see him come back, and they'll be cool. Reba, was that you? Jesus Christ, that is fucking rancid. But also, AEW...
You told me not to move, boss.
Reba's like, you told me that... You said you were going to no-sell it. But AEW, unlike WWE, also lets these people work around the country. There are so many AEW personalities at WrestleCon down in Dallas this week for WrestleMania. AEW just lets these guys go down there. It's just kind of different, where they're still allowed to go out and make their money. If they're not on TV, it's not like they're not making money.
That's not what I was saying at all, okay? And please, let's not lecture
Where would
us.
you have put Ruby Soho on this week's show?
I'm not saying you this week's show. Hell, you can put her anywhere you want to. I mean, at this point, there's one match on a women's for the women's roster on a 2-hour show. So, I mean, that's a problem into itself. Now, where you want to put her, okay, I guess, you know, Thunder Rosa just won the title. Maybe have a number one contenders match. You can put her against Nyla Rose. How about that? Have Nyla Rose beat Ruby Soho if you want to keep Ruby Soho in the background so she can go off and do her other promotions and her other, you know, signings or whatever the case may be, fine. But Nyla Rose didn't have to beat down Thunder Rosa. You can have her beat Ruby Soho. There you go.
Let him book the territory, guys. Let him book the territory. Do not get hurt, Kevin Durant. What the fuck is
Jesus
going on
Christ.
here? I have the over in this game, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, this is a bad motherfucker, boy.
He is. If you guys can't tell, we're watching rugby. And then the main event was. I'm happy to see Toni Storm on television. I think she's a real talent.
Yes, without question. Please don't fuck this up.
Darby Allin versus Andrade as the main event.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. I fell asleep, like I said, but I went back and watched it today. Andrade goes over.
Interesting.
With some chicanery.
The chicanery kind of got shut down.
And then because it's Dynamite and Tony Khan can't help himself, there's another 8 guys in the ring within 2 minutes.
After
the match, it's still just a like everything doesn't have to end in a schmoz.
My guess is Blood and Guts feels like it should be coming up here soon, in between like the 2 big pay-per-views.
I forgot about that.
Battle of the Belts, I think, might be another one that's coming up. So it feels like 5-on-5 at some point to end the feud. My guess is that's the setup for
Stadium Stampede.
It could be Stadium Stampede. I mean,
I'm all right with that.
Did we talk about Bryan Danielson?
Did I skip past it? Yes. Oh, I didn't write down. No. Yeah, we skipped past Danielson versus Wheeler Utah. A very fun match.
Yeah. What did you think about Wheeler Utah spitting on Danielson right before the finish of the match? I'm like, oh, you're getting ready to get fucked.
I mean, I loved it. I mean, he was basically passed out.
Right. And Danielson was just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to tie your ass up.
Danielson was getting ready to do that thing where he holds the guy's arms and
stomps his
head and then pulls him back up and hits him again. And Yuta knew it does look like they're telling a story with Yuta that he's going to end up with the Blackpool Combat Club. That is, I hope that they listen. I like Wheeler Yuta a lot. I think that he's fucking awesome. He's really young. I looked him up last night. I think he was born in 96. So
holy shit.
Yeah, he has like no Wikipedia, which means that they probably caught him right when he was on the come up, and they were like, this is a talented guy. He needs to be put somewhere. He's really talented. They had some great exchanges in that match.
Agreed.
That were, I'm not going to put him in the same Naido.
It was ZSJ-ish.
It was I was going to say, it was, I'm not going to put in the Naido ZSJ thing, but it was kind of similar to it.
Yes.
That's why we have to see ZSJ versus Daniel Bryan at some point, man.
Well, they've already done it, but we need to see it 2022 or moving forward.
Yeah, we need to see it now. They've already done it?
Yeah.
In New Japan?
No, I think it was ROH or something. It's on the YouTube. I know I've seen it. I just haven't physically watched the match. But
that's a match that today sounds insane, just absolutely insane.
Can we meet somewhere in the middle, fellas? I mean, you ain't got to come over to Japan.
I'm telling you, man. I think that New Japan is going to come back in a big way.
No, Jay White's coming back at some point. I think
they got that whole Bullet Club thing. They said the Bullet Club thing is going to span multiple promotions. That it's just going to be like this worldwide Bullet Club civil war that's about to happen,
right?
Which sounds pretty cool. But yeah, I like Wheeler Yuta. I think Daniel Bryan. I like how they use Daniel Bryan with guys, and it's like, okay, we'll see how you look against Daniel Bryan and see how guys stack up. Wheeler Yuta stacked up pretty fucking well for a 26-year-old.
Jesus Christ.
Or 25, 26-year-old.
No, I thought that was one of the better matches. And like you said, there's a story being told different from what Jay Lethal and Moxley is. Obviously, that feels like a Mox or a Jay Lethal heel turn. In this scenario, this feels like the up and coming Wheeler Yuta and where it happens from here, because obviously he'll have to deal with best friends in a little bit. They'll be pissed off about that, and then it'll kind of go from there. We'll see what happens.
I'm obviously not a pro wrestler. I've never been backstage for these backstage conversations and stuff, but I watch shoot interviews. I've heard shoot interviews with Daniel Bryan. And he's just the kind of guy that strikes me as he looked at Wheeler Yuta before the match, and he was like, right before I do this, he's like, spit in my fucking face. And
totally.
You just like, should I really? Like, you're cool with that? He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, it'll really add to the end of the match.
And it did, because when the crowd was like, oh, I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
I was too. I was like, holy shit. Like,
I'm like, oh, you're dead.
I was like, fuck, yeah, here we go.
Like, you're dead, dude. God bless you.
I got to admit, Steve was over here watching the Oscars. My wife, our wives were watching the Oscars. Me and Steve were over here too. And me and Steve,
we were over here too. I'm like, how you put that?
I'm just telling you. We marked out when Wilson. We were like, that's fucking insane. Like, what the fuck? Like, it was the most pro wrestling thing.
Dude, it totally is. Okay, that's what the beauty of it is.
I wanted to go back to it, but I can't stop thinking about how crazy it is.
Wrestling, and the funny part about it is, everybody and their mama is going ape shit about it. They've been talking about it for like 2 days, 3 days afterwards. We're talking about it today.
It's funny how Will Smith spent like 30 years like cultivating this image, and just in one night, it's like, now it's like, what the fuck is wrong with Will Smith?
The black came out of his ass, okay?
Let's get to that 3 counts.
1, 2, 3.
JCB, give me the 3.
We're going to, before we drop our WrestleMania predictions, I want to at least, acknowledge the public retirement of Triple H. He did it surprisingly on ESPN on First Take. I think it was either late last week or early this week. Triple H has always been one of those interesting guys to me, just in the sense that when he first got on the scene, he was, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and he just, he curtsied or whatever. He was a decent heel, but I would never, if you'd have told me this was a 14-time future world champion, I'd have laughed in your face. He never really had that charisma to me to where I would see Vince giving him the ball and letting him run with it. As time progressed, obviously, he built himself up, and then we talked about this when we're paying tribute to Scott Hall. The curtain call happened when Nash and Hall decided they were going to WCW, and we always wondered if Triple H wasn't a part of that what would have happened to Triple H. Obviously, truth be told, everything worked out, but maybe he would have been the one to break Ric Flair's record. We obviously won't find out. We'll never know at this point, but that to me has always been one of the, biggest, what if moments when it comes to Triple H. As things progressed, he finally got the ball. He ran with it. For me, I was thinking about, what I would remember about Triple H the most, and it was two memories that I can take away from Triple H that I can that really resonate with me. The first is when he came back from tearing his quad, and he returned, and it was one of the biggest pops that I've heard in a long, long time. I think it was right before the Royal Rumble. He came back and returned. Him and Austin were the two-man power trip. That was another what-if moment. If Triple H would have stayed healthy, I would have loved to see them where that angle would have ultimately went. The second moment, to me, I know it's a WrestleMania moment, but it's not one of my favorite all-time WrestleMania moments, but it's one that kind of stands out when I think about Triple H, is where he challenges The Undertaker, and neither one of them say a word. It's basically a stare down. One looks at the WrestleMania sign, which is kind of corny. The other one looks at it, and they basically make a match, which was one of the better, Taker matches when it comes to WrestleMania in quite some time. I know Bill and I had always kind of debated on, which matches were the best Taker matches with him and HBK. So for me, ultimately at the end of the day, I'm just kind of glad that hopefully he's coming around this health scare in one piece. I'm glad that he's making a smart decision and not trying to push himself back into the ring to make another WWE moment. He's got plenty of them. I just threw a couple out there. I know other people have their own. So for me, like I said, I like the fact that he made the smart decision. Triple H is going to be first ballot Hall of Famer whenever they decide to reel his ass in there. And then from that point, whatever he does moving forward, whether he's, behind the scenes or he goes back to NXT or whatever the case may be, I wish nothing but the best for him moving forward.
He's the first heel to ever walk out of WrestleMania as the champ, still in WrestleMania 17. His two matches, even before you get to the two matches against Taker, especially the first one was the one without Shawn Michaels, right? The second one was the one where Shawn Michaels was the special guest referee.
Yeah, that's right.
I might be wrong about that.
No, I think you're right.
You can tweet at me. But I remember one of them had probably in a room at Jinder Mahal's house when he lived over in Shrewsbury, and there was a group of dudes there, and he tombstoned Taker, crossed Taker's arms over him, pinned him, looked into the hard camera, stuck out his tongue, and did the Taker thing. And Taker kicked out at 2 7/8. And, man, that room popped as much as any room I've ever been in watching a televised event. Yeah. That was insane. It kind of gives me chills just thinking about it. But even before that, he's kind of the forgotten man. I know it's almost impossible to say about Triple H. Man. But everybody thinks about Rock Austin. But that was kind of a trio. Like, they would constantly fight each other. It was Triple H, Austin, Rock, Triple H, Austin, Rock. Then you would throw in fucking Angle would be in there. And you'd throw in Jericho. But, Triple H was a big deal. And he's a real testament.
John Cena.
And it just goes to show, like, how much shit you can get done when you bang the boss's daughter. It is just it's just a real, it's just, if you keep your head down and your boss's daughter vag, and you can just get so much done. You can get so much done. You know what I mean? So congrats on kudos to a great career for Hunter Hearst Helmsley, John Paul Levesque.
You ain't shit, dog, man.
Listen,
I'm not going to sit here and lie and say him not being with Stephanie didn't have a lot to do with his push, but let's give the man some credit.
I will say this, sans the Undertaker match, what's your favorite Triple H match?
I was thinking about that. When Shawn Michaels came back, Triple H was the champion. It was like after he
Bet you had to think a long time, though.
No, I didn't take
you?
that. No, I was about to say it really didn't take that. It was like a really emotional match because it was like Shawn Michaels had just came back from, retiring from his back injury. It was like one of them real, I think it was like Elimination Chamber where he had used this sledgehammer on the back. Shawn, of course, selling it like nobody's fucking business, like he's been, wounded 15 trillion times. And he ends up winning. Shawn Michaels wins the match and becomes the champion again. It takes both guys to make that thing dance. So I got to give him credit on that.
I actually think that, and this might be recency bias, but Triple H's legacy to me is much more that golden age of the black and gold NXT than it is any of his in-ring stuff. Because as for a guy that won as many titles as he did, you would think that you'd be able to name off a couple more bangers, like
I'm sure we could.
Okay, maybe you could. I can't. He was an in-ring technician, and he could tell a good story, but he didn't really. It was all WWE style, which is fine, but WWE style doesn't allow for spectacular matches. It allows for spectacular moments, which he also doesn't have a whole lot of. He's got the one. I didn't expect myself to be just running down Triple H here, but I'm just, I'm letting it rip. I'm letting it rip. When I think about Triple H, I think about him marrying Stephanie while she was asleep in the drive-through chapel in Las Vegas when she was supposed to be married to Test. I think of all these character moments, but not really in-ring moments. He has a great entrance.
We made a Triple H sign.
I know we did. It said he's that damn good. HHH, he. That's how he started, and then they made us take it down because we hung it over the edge.
Big time.
That was 1999 though,
We
or
stole
something.
your mom's tablecloth.
Is that true?
Yeah, we spray painted it.
Fuck.
She was so pissed.
Oh, I don't remember that part of it at all.
Jesus Christ. Okay, see, yeah, you might have want to run back some of those statements you want to make because you over here marking out on Triple H in 1999.
No, listen, I think that he's legendary, and I think that he is, of all the legendary guys in WWE, not all time, in WWE,
okay,
of all legendary guys, he's the least legendary.
Hot take.
I mean, I don't think that's that hot of a take. When I talk about legendary guys, I'm talking about Rock. I'm talking about Austin. I'm talking about
You just got
Hogan.
finished saying how those three guys were basically the top of the card for a few years.
Yeah, and he was a good foil for the most charismatic motherfuckers in the world because he was a piece of wood.
DX doesn't count for anything?
I was just going to say, no. I mean, yeah, DX counts for something.
Still a piece of wood then?
Kind of a piece of wood, yeah. I mean, he was all right. Here's the thing. I was going to say my favorite Triple H match ever is the WrestleMania main event where it was WrestleMania, I want to say 22, maybe the last WrestleMania inside, where it was him versus Benoit versus Michaels. And Benoit went over, right. And that was the year that Benoit
and Eddie
both went over. Yeah, that's a great. I've rewatched that match recently, and that's a fucking great match.
Okay, still gonna stick to your hot take.
Who were the other two guys in that match? Benoit and HBK. Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could have. Fuck. Come on. Come on, man. You could have put Chris Masters in that match. It would have been a fucking 5-star classic.
Okay, now you started the trip. Okay, you reel yourself back.
You could have put Tyler Rex in that match. Still would have been good. Anyway.
I'll say real it is.
R.I.P. Triple H. What a life. Oh, wait. He didn't die? Oh, my bad.
This is banned from ringside.
Okay, so this is going to be our prediction portion of the show. The way that I have the system set up right now, I can't have it keep repeating, and I'm not just going to hit it every time, so we're just going to do it sans music, if that's okay with you guys.
Look, you quarterback this shit, dog.
We'll ask the audience. Are you guys okay with that?
I remember my first pod.
The good old
You're
days.
supposed to say that into the mic. So, obviously, you don't remember your first pod. Let's go over some of the Supercard of Honor, though, real quick. I'm not going to go through every single one because I can't give a educated guess on each one. But I do want to talk about the Briscoes versus FTR for the Ring of Honor belts. Who do you think goes over here, Jason?
My gut tells me it's the Briscoes, question mark? I can see, honestly, this going either way, but I think the Briscoes just got the titles back, even though they haven't been wrestling with the titles on ROH just yet. My guess is the Briscoes. I'll take the Briscoes.
Alex Woods versus Wheeler Yuta.
Actually, it's Josh Woods.
Josh Woods, sorry. That's what I meant.
Pure title championship. Josh Woods beats Jonathan Gresham to get the pure title. I just don't think personally that you're going to beat arguably one of the better wrestlers in the world right now and have him drop the title right away to Wheeler Yuta. This feels like Wheeler Yuta needs another rub, so we'll go with Josh Woods here.
All right, this will be a fun match. Jay Lethal versus Lee Moriarty.
If Jay Lethal's losing streak continues to this, then now I can see a real heel turn going. I'm not going to go that route. Lee Moriarty is the future. Jay Lethal is the present. Give me Jay Lethal.
And we have Rhett Titus versus Minoru Suzuki.
ROH title match or TV title match. I'm praying for Rhett Titus. He is going to catch that work. I would love to see Minoru Suzuki take this. I'm taking Rhett Titus.
Gresham versus Bandito.
Basically, this is a unification match for the ROH Championship. I'd love me some Bandito. I think he's one of the wrestlers that a lot of people don't know about. Jonathan Gresham, I just wax poetically on him, Zack Saber Jr., Daniel Bryanson. I think arguably you can make an argument for them being the three best technical wrestlers in the world. That being said, I think we're going to stick with Gresham being the champion and winning this unification match.
NXT Stand and Deliver.
Okay.
We're not going to go through every match because I don't care about Toxic Attraction versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez.
You shouldn't. That's a horrible storyline. Fucking stupid. Dude, come on, man. That's dumb.
Listen, we have
Cameron. Watch that shit.
Cameron Hayes. I don't. I watch. Do you like Cameron Hayes?
Carmelo Hayes?
Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, I think he's amazing.
Do you like Santos Escobar?
Yeah. I don't like the way they're using him, but ultimately I like him.
Do you like Solo Sikoa?
The bits and pieces I see of him, yeah.
Do you like Grayson Waller?
Amazing.
Do you like Cameron Grimes?
Being underused, but yeah.
Okay, so those are 5 guys that I just named that you like a whole lot. So you're like, how can you watch NXT? It's like, well, I don't watch it for Toxic Attraction.
But you're watching it, right?
I have the internet. I watch it while I read, and I watch it while I take care of the baby and the dog and the cats and the wife. There's a lot of fucking people in this house that depend on me, Jason.
Doth protest too much.
Motherfucker bringing out Shakespeare on me. Who you got in that match?
It's got to be Carmelo Hayes, right?
You think he retains, huh?
Yeah. Is there anybody else that is?
I think it's WrestleMania weekend, and I think it's time to reward a guy like Cameron Grimes to the moon. And I'm going Cameron Grimes there.
Okay, fair enough.
Champa versus Tony D'Angelo. Looks like Ciampa's going to go out on his back, right?
Yeah, I saw the picture with the chair with I guess the final dates on it or whatever the case may be. This is the way you're supposed to do it. Ciampa's an NXT legend, one of the last vestiges of the black and gold. So yeah, you got to go with D'Angelo here.
Mandy Rose versus Cora Jade versus Io Shirai versus Kaylee Ray.
Least to most, I'll go Io, Kaylee Ray, Cora Jade, and Mandy Rose retaining.
I think Mandy Rose is going to retain. Imperium versus the Creed Brothers versus MSK. Now, this match has a lot of potential.
This is one of the matches I actually want to see because I like all 3 teams. Least to most, I'll go MSK, Imperium, and I'll go Creed Brothers taking the tag titles.
I agree, 100%. There's 2 more matches, and if you don't want to watch these 2 matches, then you and I watch wrestling for different reasons. With LA Knight versus Walter or Gunther. Now,
No, it's Walter.
when's the last time that you didn't want to watch a Walter match?
I would be lying if this match didn't intrigue me because I like LA Knight as a character and a wrestler, and I think Walter ultimately is going to be the NXT champion at some point. I'll take Walter here. I like LA Knight, but it's like he gets to that point and then he falls. He gets to that point and then he falls.
Walter doesn't get to lose here. If Walter loses LA Knight, I will be pissed.
You should have every right to be pissed.
I mean, Walter shouldn't lose ever.
If anybody, it should be Barn Breaker, and they shouldn't. Then that's the reason why I didn't want him to lose to Dolph Ziggler. You keep them both undefeated, and you have this monster ass match.
I want to see Walter. I want to see Walter Lesnar. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see.
I'll be lying if I said I didn't want to see it. It's going to be a while.
Dolph Ziggler, Braun Breaker.
I think this is where you get Braun Breaker his title back with the Steiner brothers going into Hall of Fame. If this is not me trying to be contrarian and say Dolph doesn't deserve to be the champion or don't want to be the champion. I think that Braun Breaker is that guy, and you need him to run the ball with this brand for a little bit. So I'll take Braun Breaker.
I'll take Ziggler just because Vince is booking it now, as far as we know, and Vince likes the swerve. It seems too obvious for Braun Breaker to win, so I can see Dolph Ziggler winning here. And also, this is being kind of the same kind of gold watch situation that we had with Zack Sabre Jr. in New Japan. It's like New Japan says, you hung with us through the entire pandemic, you elevated the tag titles, and you have been nothing but a solid company man, basically. Now he speaks Japanese semi-fluently,
No, I agree. I can see Dolph retaining and
so I'm gonna
this out a little longer.
Dolph Ziggler winning a title belt on WrestleMania weekend seems like something that they would, give him as like, hey man, you're the man.
Kind of already did, but no big deal.
Not on WrestleMania weekend.
The Monday night after WrestleMania?
One of the biggest pops I've ever seen.
Okay.
That was before they commandeered the Monday after WrestleMania.
I'm just saying.
Don't you think it's nice to see Dolph Ziggler in a main event program, though? I know we had this whole conversation.
I just wanted to be on the main roster, man. That's all I want. I'm a simple man.
Well, I mean, too bad. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar have to fight for every single belt all the time. Like, honestly, when I looked on Wikipedia to find out the matches so I could write them down for predictions, like I typed in WrestleMania, and the first two were 36 and 37 or 37 and 38. Anyway, I clicked on one, and it had Brock and Roman in the picture on Wikipedia. And I was like, well, that looks like this year's, but it also could have been some other years, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
no, it is what it is.
All roads lead to Roman.
All roads lead to Roman.
Okay, so we have our WrestleMania predictions.
Let's do this shit.
I am going to bounce around as much as I can, but I'm going to start off with a pretty big one that's had a pretty terrible build, if you ask me. That's Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. Becky Lynch won the title off of Bianca Belair at SummerSlam in 26 seconds or something like that. I was watching it here by myself, and I was mad. Ooh, I was mad that they did that to Bianca Belair. Who do you think goes over here, Jason?
I have been debating this for the last couple of days. I pretty much had my mind convinced up until Monday night where Bianca cut Becky's hair. I know I threw out Bianca should, if you really wanted to put heat on Becky, clip off some of Bianca's hair, and obviously it kind of flipped. I'm going to take Becky Lynch. I don't have a solid reason why. It just for the fact that a swerve is coming. I think this
same reason I just picked
Dolph
Ziggler. Yeah,
I got that feeling that Becky's story isn't done yet. Bianca is over, so you really don't need to have her win the title. It would be a great story to, get the receipt here, but if you want to do it right, you have Becky Lynch win and have her put somebody over that's not named Bianca Belair. I'll take Becky Lynch.
Okay, I'm going Bianca Bel-Air just because
God, I just talked myself into that shit.
you just really did. It's like all signs point to, unless it's a Vince swerve, all signs point to
Bianca should win.
this was the story that they've been telling since SummerSlam. So why would Becky Lynch win if you've been telling this story since SummerSlam? So it's Bianca Belair, but now I just feel like I just talked myself into Becky Lynch. I'm taking Becky Lynch.
Come to the dark side, Luke.
All right, coming up next, we have the Mysterios versus Miz and Logan Paul. This is the easiest one. Oh, wait, I never asked Bo. Who you got, Becky Lynch or Bianca Belair?
Becky Lynch.
Wow.
That's easy.
You got the
He said
Mysterios.
that's easy.
That's Zach's pick.
Right?
We got the Mysterios versus Miz and Logan Paul. I'll go first. This is such an easy one. I'll go with the Mysterios. Logan Paul has to get double 619, which used to happen to Bo in college all the time. But I'm going to take the Mysterios. Who you got, Jason?
Man, double 619. That's some shit. Yeah.
No idea.
Bo was a player.
I would take the Mysterios as well. You just can't have Miz snatch the mask and not have repercussions. I wouldn't be surprised to see Logan Paul leaving this match and leaving Miz to his own devices against the Mysterios. So, yeah, I'll take the Mysterios.
Bo, who you got for Zach?
Oh, the Mysterios for show.
All right. Next up, we have McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. There was a skit on SmackDown the other night where it was like the year-long journey of Happy Corbin, from Sad Corbin to Happy Corbin.
I miss Sad Corbin.
Oh, my God. Sad Corbin was so funny.
Dude. I mean,
He
just
was
hard to watch, and it was so fucking
He'd be
funny.
like Caleb Braxton would come interview him, and he'd just be sitting there in a wife beater, and he'd have like red sauce right here. He'd be like, I didn't have a can over it. He's like, I just took this can of ravioli and just beat it against the ground till it opened. He's like, can you believe this is me a year ago?
Right.
It was so funny. I think McIntyre goes over. They're not going to have McIntyre lose here. Hopefully, Madcap Moss turns on Baron Corbin, because Madcap Moss is a talented dude who is definitely game for anything. I'm taking McIntyre, Jason.
Ditto.
Bo.
Oh, McIntyre's going to win, and it's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm a Corbin mark. I don't mind saying it. I don't watch all of his matches, but I know he's out there doing it, and I respect that.
Holy shit. That good reference. I like that. That was good.
We got the Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs for the SmackDown tag titles. Bo, I'll let you go first here.
Usos. Big time. That's gonna be
Jason, you're next.
I can be more or less interested in a match. I'm sure there will be another one that I'm less interested in. I haven't thought of it yet, but yeah, I'm going with Bo on this one. I'll take the Usos as well.
Okay, so we're all in simpatico because we all took Becky Lynch. I did not see that coming.
No.
New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Now, I'll go first here.
Uh-oh.
This match has a little bit of heat on it because Ridge Holland almost killed Big E, and Xavier Woods came back the other night. So
Then beat Kofi the next week.
Xavier Woods is not my favorite wrestler.
He gonna have to be your boy this week.
Well,
That's my dog.
you know, Butch's involvement kind of gives me a little bit of pause because it's like, well, is Butch going to do anything here? They can't have Ridge Holland and Sheamus go over New Day after Ridge Holland breaks Big E's neck. Because I could believe it if they had used Big E's neck injury to put a bunch of fucking heat on Ridge Holland, but they just haven't done that. Michael Cole was like, Ridge Holland has apologized. It's like, wait a minute, like, you think Vern Gagne would have done that shit? No, man, he would have put a heat on him. Anyway, I'm gonna go New Day. Who you got, Jason?
Man, good. If New Day,
Are you mad, bruv?
Yes, I am. As a matter of fact, if New Day don't win this shit, there is a serious problem on our hands, man. Look, a receipt is due. And if Biggie ain't there to do it, then Xavier Woods gonna have to come in and crown this motherfucker, man. Give me New Day.
Zach Bowman.
New Day's winning this. The only way they don't is if Hogan comes down and endorses Holland.
Oh, jeez.
He's heating up.
Cold-blooded. I did not see that coming at all.
I mean, that would be some heat.
Oh, yeah, you think?
That'd be some Bully Ray heat. Bully Ray be happy about that heat.
Okay, Bully Ray be over there growing over his grave. There's be so much heat. You can't be goddamn.
Charlotte Flair versus I'm so mad. I'm versus Ronda Rousey. That's my Ronda Rousey impression. I'm so mad. Don't give a damn about my reputation. Yeah, I'm so mad. I'm gonna put her in an armbar. Anyway, you got Jason.
God, this match should feel so much more than what it is.
It's terrible.
I still say that now. I'll take this to the grave. This should be the Becky Lynch Ronda Rousey match, and you can. Anyway, I'm gonna take Ronda Rousey.
I'd rather see Ronda Rousey versus Asuka.
Dude, don't get me. Man,
Who are you taking?
I can't believe you said Asuka's name. Sorry, Reba. I didn't mean to pop you in the face. I'm taking Ronda Rousey here. Charlotte Flair is going to be the one to ultimately beat 16. This is the way to do it. To me, this is kind of not the lock of the week, but I would be really surprised to see Charlotte Flair win. Fuckery aside, I'm going to still take Ronda Rousey on this
Two beer bow.
Yeah, Rousey's going to win. They're just going to do it just to piss everybody off. It's going to be that easy.
I don't know. Shit. Charlotte winning, I think, would piss more people off than Ronda winning.
People that care.
Rousey, this will be her third WrestleMania. She's 1-1. She had the mixed tag match with Angle and her versus Triple H and Stephanie. Was that Angle? Yeah, it was Angle.
Actually, you were pretty good.
That was it was the match of the night.
It was better.
I remember it being really fun.
Yeah, it was better than I anticipated.
That's because Angle and Triple H, one of the all-time in ring technicians. Look at this shit. This could still go over.
See,
it was looking under.
See, you got hope.
I was hoping that ball didn't go in.
Right.
But I can't see them bringing Rousey back to have her lose again at WrestleMania.
Or are you going to stick to your old adage?
I'm going to go Charlotte Flair.
Not to say some things don't change. God bless you. I can't do it.
I would.
And then the last night, we're doing all Saturday and then all Sunday. So the last one on Saturday. Oh, you know what? There's one that's not here because it's not a match. So we got two more things to talk about. They're both huge. Seth Rollins versus TVA. So, who do you guys think TVA is going to be? There are some rumors going around. They have to be misinformation, right?
Now, this is smoke and mirrors, and I use that.
Because it's Cody?
They're going to be, baby.
It better be Cody at this point. Shane is there because it's WrestleMania weekend. He's coming down to see, the Hall of Fame, be backstage, nothing more. This is Cody Rhodes.
There's another rumor going around.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Who is it?
Elias. And then they bring out Cody Rhodes on Monday. So they juke everybody on Sunday at WrestleMania. Then they bring out Cody Rhodes on Monday. I don't believe that.
My prediction.
I don't believe that. I don't think that.
If they do that, I'll be pissed.
That'd be a pretty good swerve, actually. If it was Elias, goddamn, that match would get so much, people would just be booing it out of the fucking building.
It would be worse than when Rey Mysterio came.
I don't know who it could be that I'd be disappointed by, really.
It would be like Rey Mysterio came out.
Either it's going to be the worst thing ever, or it's going to be Cody.
Either way, I'm going to pop. Yep.
I'm going to be excited either way.
If it's fucking Johnny Gargano?
Okay. I would be accepted.
You would pop, right?
Yeah, I would totally be accepted of that.
I'm telling you, you'll pop at anything.
Now, if it's Elias, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck?
If it's Elias, I'm gonna fucking pop
lit.
just because of this conversation.
No,
It's Saturday. It's gonna be late. I'm definitely gonna pop.
Yeah, I'm popping.
shit. I say, man, people fight on my hall, man.
Anyway, who you got?
Me yell at 3
Who
in the
you
morning.
got?
If it's Cody,
No,
I'm gonna stick
just
to.
tell me who's gonna win, TBA or Seth Rollins.
If it's TBA, then TBA's anybody.
Right. But you can say who you want to be, but that doesn't get you a point.
Okay.
You just have to say who wins.
I don't want the point for Cody. I've been championing Cody
I ain't
for all
giving you
this
the point for Cody.
Cody versus Seth. Cody should win. I'm taking Cody Rhodes.
Bo?
Rollins loses.
He's taking TBA, which I respect. Because you said Cody Rhodes. So if Elias wins,
Then
you're
I'll take the
you're
L.
out of point.
Yeah, I'll take the L.
I'm going to take Seth Rollins. I'm either going undefeated on this shit
Or it's the bomb of the century.
or it's the bomb of the century.
This is banned from ringside.
All right, so let's get to night 2. Or, sorry, they call it WrestleMania Sunday these days. They don't call it night 2.
Whatever. Fuck out of here.
So, no, wait,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I was getting ready to say.
And then we have the KO show with Steve
Come
Austin.
on.
I can't believe I forgot about it.
Unbelievable.
My 2 favorite dudes. You guys got me stoned.
Don't
I'm wearing
put
a
that on
KO
me,
shirt.
bro.
Come on, man.
You've been talking about this for the last 3 weeks.
I got a Steve Austin doll on top of my fucking bookcase up there. Look at him. He's
Unbelievable.
facing off with Tchaikovsky. They've been
is.
facing off for years now.
Okay.
Shaking his head.
So what do you think is going to happen with KO?
No, what do you think is going to happen? That's the question. I mean, you're the most...
Well, it's going on in the main event slot.
Right.
They've said it. That's going off in the main event slot. I think it's going to be a full match. I think that Austin's going to come out there. He's going to challenge him to a match. He's not going to be wearing his jeans. I said this last week. He's going to be wearing both knee braces, jean shorts. He's going to come out looking cut. And because he's been doing steroids, and he is going to
Apologize.
fucking beat Kevin Owens' ass. And I cannot wait. Just can't wait for it. It's going to be so fucking cool. What do you think is going to happen, Bo?
I could not agree more. That is exactly what's going to happen. He is going to take a beating, and we are going to cheer like drunk idiots.
Here's the question: yes or no? Is KO going to get a stunner in on Stone Cold?
He's going to try, and then he's going to miss, and then he's going to catch like 5 of them.
Yeah, I just can't see Stone Cold taking one right now.
No, I mean, at that point, could he kick out of it? I mean, like Rock has done it, but that's when, it was the back and forth. Austin would do the rock bottom. Rock would do the stunner. Neither one of them. If you try to pin the one that did the opposite, they kick out.
I might have told this story already on this podcast, but I was at a 2003 show. It was St. Patrick's Day 2003, and it was leading up to WrestleMania. And Stone Cold was The Rock was the heel, and Stone Cold was the babyface. And after the show went off, there was no dark match. It was just those two guys talking shit to each other.
I remember this.
And me and Slamilton were 6 rows from the ring, 6 seats from the ramp. And Stone Cold stunned The Rock, who sold it like a motherfucker, and then just staggered for a while, like he was waiting for a fatality. And Stone Cold pranced around the ring,
did
and then
the little picture that Kevin Nash used to do before he put the elbow in the corner.
and then he stunned him again. And man, that place
Erupted.
had place everybody was standing in the aisles because you know how people start to leave at when the shit's over.
Yeah,
and it's
I was
everybody
no, let's not leave yet. Let's not leave yet.
anyway,
so
It's
good.
Defcon
it was really cool.
Jam.
It was cool as fuck. I can't wait to see it. They're my 2 favorite dudes. What more can I say? I love Kevin Owens.
I'll say this. If they were smart, they would have done it in 2 nights where you hyped it up, like I said last week, and then you have a WrestleMania Sunday match. But obviously with Brock and Roman there, it's probably going to get jammed up at the top. I don't know if this
Plus,
is
it's going to be a long fucking show, man.
I don't think this is going to be a full-blown match. I think this is going to be a KO show where somehow, some way, this breaks down into some sort of anarchy where you still have, sets in the ring. Basically going to be a no-holds-barred free-for-all where
but why would
Steve Austin
it just
wins.
seems so hard to believe they would put it in the... Well, maybe that seems exactly why it is. Like, they put in the main event slot, but Stone Cold still needs to have to be in. He has to be in the main event slot, even though he's not having a match.
He hasn't been back in 19 years.
No, well, that's not true. Like, he came out and did that intro with Hogan and shit that lasted.
That's not the same thing.
That's why, like, not NWO. That's why DX had to lose to the Shield in a minute and a half, is because those guys went super long. Everybody went super long, and the show was still 7.5 fucking hours. All right, let's move on to NBA Sunday.
This is banned from ringside.
I'm Steve Snapper Jones here with Bill Walton. So we have
People are like, who the fuck is Steve Snapper Jones?
yeah, is that too old of a reference?
Yes. you were saying
He was on NBA Sunday forever, though.
Dude, stop.
Zach's
Take the
gonna be like,
shovel.
what are they talking about?
Take the shovel out of your hand immediately.
Queen Zelina and Carmella versus Sasha Banks and Naomi. They're calling them Boss Glow. That's imaginative. Rhea Ripley versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler. Can we just skip this? I don't want to put these in order. Do you want to put them in order?
I'll just go. We can just go with the winner. I'll go with that.
No, put them in order.
Least to most, I'll go the champs. Least, I'll go
Who the fuck are the champs?
Zelina and Carmella. Jesus Christ. I'll go Natty and Shayna 3. I could easily put them at 4. It really doesn't matter. I'll go Rhea and Liv 2, and I can't believe they're calling them Boss Glow. I'll take Sasha and Naomi to win.
All right, I'll put Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan most likely to win, and then I'll go Boss Glow, and then Shayna Baszler, fucking Zelina, Carmella, whatever the fuck. Bo, you going the same as me?
No, I'm going the same as Jason.
All right, going the same as Jason.
Because that's fun to say.
Going the same as Jason. Okay.
Boss Glow. Wow.
So there are some really fun matches on this card. This night is
probably the night
this
I'm
night's
more
pretty
interested.
stacked,
Yeah.
actually. We have Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn,
Nice setup.
which
It's going to be fun.
it's gonna be fun. I heard an interview with Sami Zayn the other day from WrestleMania Row. Sami Zayn is pumped about this match. Did you see where Johnny Knoxville put Sami Zayn's phone number and flew it over top of Los Angeles? In this interview, Sami Zayn held up his phone, and he had 211,000 missed calls. People won't stop calling him.
That's ridiculous.
It's really good. It's really good.
I would lose my shit.
I am going to take Sami Zayn. I'm going to take.
You'd have to get a new phone. I'm sorry. We are changing this number. This is the most ridiculous shit ever.
I'm taking Sami Zayn, and the reason I'm taking Sami Zayn is because Knoxville seems like the kind of celebrity that doesn't mind jobbing. 1. And 2, Knoxville knows he's not going to be around, so Sami Zayn should win. Also, Vince, Sami Zayn, he should win at WrestleMania. So I'm going Sami Zayn.
I'll go next. I'm not that sure. You make all the sense in the world.
Thank you.
Sammy should beat this dude at the end, but there's going to be, some jackassery, for lack of a better word, involved. I really don't want to say Johnny Knoxville, so I'm not going to. I will agree with you, and I will say Sami Zayn somehow wins this nonsense.
Who you got, Bo?
I'm going Knoxville.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the chalk pick. Like, I don't even know why you listen to me.
It's good pod.
Yeah, it is good pod. Next up, another fun match. Another pseudo-celebrity match. We have Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. Even though Pat McAfee has proven himself in the ring against Adam Cole. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. I took Sami Zayn earlier. They wouldn't have both wrestlers go over, would they? And Logan Paul, would they have all three celebrities lose?
They should.
I think they're going to have all three celebrities lose. I'm going Austin Theory. Jason?
I want to go Austin Theory, but I'm not. I'm going to go Pat McAfee.
Bo Geisman.
I'm going Theory just simply because McAfee is the kind of guy that will lose because he understands that losing is cool for him.
Yeah, nobody knows the art of the loss like Pat McAfee and Scott Hall. That's the old saying. Okay, so from...
That's the old saying since when?
That's the old saying. From least to most, we have RK Bro, Alpha Academy, and the Street Profits. This is... I'm going to go Alpha Academy last. I'll go Street Profits second last, and I'll go RK Bro to retain. They are a hot act. They've stayed hot for a long time. So it just, I feel like that's the safest bet. If I were betting money, that would be the bet.
Oh, damn. Okay, that's real shit right there, boy.
I mean, I'm not a gambler, but if I were a gambler,
Yeah. In hypotheticals, that would be the way you would go.
that is what I would do, yeah.
Man.
I didn't say you were next.
Okay.
Jason, you're next.
Man. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go Street Profits at least likely to win. This heel turn-ish. I won't say it's a heel turn. I'm going to go Alpha Academy 2. Chad Gable has really grown on me with this new shtick as the leader of the Alpha Academy.
Oh, yes.
And I would love to
Come
see them.
to the dark side.
I would love to see them grab one more guy and kind of make that a little faction going on. But I will agree, RK Bro probably should retain. Not time for them to break up just yet. SummerSlam's a few months away. I think that would be the ultimate SummerSlam match, Riddle versus Orton, after Orton decides to snap on Riddle at some point.
Like, now's not the time to break them up. They're still hot.
Now, I was about to say, Street Profits is there to get them on, but like I said, I think RK Bro ultimately retains.
Bo, least and most likely.
I'm going same as JCB. Keep moving.
Street Profits last. Alpha Academy second. RK Bro most likely to win the tag belts. Coming up
Wink,
next.
wink.
Coming up next. What I think is kind of the match that all the wrestling heads are looking forward to the most, which is Edge versus AJ Styles. I am interested to hear what you guys have to say, but I'll go first because I don't want to be biased by either of you, or I can just write it down. I think that Edge is there to put AJ Styles over. It's not like AJ Styles is some spring chicken. Not at all. And Edge is still at the very top of his game. I just talked myself out of it. I'm going with Edge. Bo Geisman, who you got?
I'm taking Styles. I think Edge is there to put Styles over because I think Styles is about to make a big run. I think he's got one big run left in him, and I think this will be the...
You don't think Edge has one big run left in him?
I think he's going to do something else.
Jason?
One of my favorite builds to WrestleMania, and it's been a short one, even though you had AJ Styles out for a couple weeks. I'm thinking about who's going to win the main event. So in that scenario, I'm going to take Edge.
Are you mad, bruv? Oh, wait, you agreed with me. Okay. So this... Oh, shit, I wrote this in the wrong way. Jason had Edge.
This dude.
Vice at AJ. You got me high, by the way. Can I see your pen? So here's a match.
How's this my fault?
It's always
Always
your
the black
fault,
guy's
dude.
fault.
I didn't say the black guy's fault. I said the Jason Bell's fault.
In the 66
Just so happens to be.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're in the wrong county,
This
brother.
is so true. See, I said it right.
So we have Bobby Lashley versus Omos.
Motherfucker.
Can I say this?
So pissed.
I don't know why these guys, 5 days away from WrestleMania, have to meet each other for the first time mid-ring and point at the sign. It's like, yeah, we know. Like, we know you guys aren't saving it for Backlash. Like, everybody's on the same page here. Like, you know.
Seen the commercials on Peacock.
Yeah,
We about to say, Omos has been talking about a WrestleMania opponent for 3 weeks. Gee, what's going to happen when Bobby Lashley comes out? The fuck?
They point at the sign and, like, a little, like, plastic paper sign like slides down and says Armageddon. It's like, oh.
Now say they'll put you back to Armageddon.
I don't think that you can have Omos lose here, and I don't think that you can have Bobby Lashley lose here. I think you have Bobby Lashley lose with MVP helping Omos and MVP turning on Bobby Lashley, thus making a Bobby Lashley face run. That's my prediction. What do you got, Jason?
You know, I usually can't give you a lot of credit because it goes to your head. But goddamn, that's good. That's good. I was taking Omos anyway, and I can totally see that happening. Omos can't talk, and that was Bobby Lashley's biggest problem. If Bobby Lashley goes babyface like it feels like he's doing, MVP does not need to be there. He needs to be next to Omos. I can totally see
and
it.
Lashley is
that makes total fucking sense.
Lashley's a pretty good promo these days now too. Let's not sell him too short.
Let's not give him that much credit. But
Did you ever see his TNA Impact babyface promos? He was fucking great.
look, that's one thing. Okay, that's TNA.
All right. Okay.
This ain't TNA. This is WWE.
That's fair.
And they need him to do a little more.
BG since 1980. What you got?
I'm taking Lashley, and I'm taking him because I think that starts his face run. I think MVP tries to help Omos, and Lashley takes them both and just catapults himself as this huge baby face that we all know he could be.
So we're all in agreement. MVP shows up.
No, they already said
yeah.
that he was going to be in this corner.
Okay.
So I mean, from that point, whatever happens, happens.
All right. And now here is the big one, the biggest match of all time. The KO show starring Kevin Owens and Steve Austin. Who you guys got? No. So we have Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. They have not called it a unification match. They're calling it a winner takes all match. There are rumors abound that they're going to unify this belt and then debut a new belt the next night, which feels like they just did with the Universal title not that long ago. Remember when everybody was mad because it was red, and now nobody gives a fuck?
Yeah,
it was like a thing for like a year.
They should have on that motherfucker quick. I was like, damn.
Like, who gives a fuck what the Zack cares what the belt looks like.
Two-Beer would be like, he's still mad about the New Japan belt.
Not going to pick on a man when he's not here. I'm not going to walk up to a man with his hands behind his back and smack him across the face because he described my wife's haircut. I'm not going to do that.
Shit out somebody. Say it again.
Can you believe that motherfucker just
Yes,
walked
I
up there
can.
and slapped?
Yes, because if
insane.
he didn't, Jada been like, why ain't you smacking the shit out to Tupac would have shot his ass.
That just
Your other boyfriend to slap him.
That just really goes to show the power of a pissed off spouse. Like, he was so scared of his wife when he got home because she didn't like the joke and he laughed at it, that he walked up and slapped a dude on live television on the same night when he was guaranteed to win an Oscar.
Hey, man.
What's she gonna do though? Fuck somebody else?
Oh wait, she did that.
Right.
Hell no, dog. Oh man, that's crazy.
Anyway, all right.
I think it's
Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns.
Unification. I'll just start there.
Who do you think is winning? It's not a unification. They would have called it a unification.
They've thrown it out.
It's
there.
a winner take all.
They've thrown it out there. Okay.
I think they're keeping their options open.
With Brock Lesnar, the Brock Lesnar promo on Monday night where they were saying,
like Jada.
He's heating up.
When Brock Lesnar did his, you silly as hell. When Brock Lesnar did his promo on Monday night, he was talking about the belts being married, and them having a baby. Okay, that smells like unification. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's going to happen that way. What I think ultimately happens is that they unify the belts, quote unquote, and then at a later point you could break them up and have two separate champions. Now, all that being said, I am going to take Roman Reigns here. His promo on Monday night basically swayed me to the point where now I would be a little surprised, if he lost. He says this is personal. Let's see how personal this shit gets. I'm taking Roman Reigns.
Bo.
Oh, I'm taking Roman Reigns. I think it's going to take something special to beat him. I think they're going to keep pushing him for quite a while. I don't think Brock Lesnar is somebody they're going to bring in long term to hold that title. It's definitely going to be Roman.
It's Roman. All roads lead to Roman. Can you imagine how pissed off I'd be if I picked somebody other than Roman and then Roman won and then I missed out the point after I've been saying all roads lead to Roman for fucking 6 years?
Sound like me.
You say all roads lead to Roman until WrestleMania.
But that's like
this is their long story.
That's pre-podcast though. I've been saying all roads lead to Roman. All roads lead to Roman. That's all it's ever been about, and that's still all it's about after all these years. I'm taking Roman Reigns
for this particular storyline, and I'm going back to that Monday night promo. He made it make sense, and in that scenario, it would be.
I don't even think I even saw that promo.
He basically came out and just ran back the history of him and Brock, where Brock busted him open, and he gave him receipt back for him busting him open in New York City. So now this time around, you think it's all fun and games. It's not fun and games to me. It's personal. He's taking it personally. I expect him to step it up and win the title.
All right, so those are our WrestleMania predictions. Are you excited?
I wasn't excited the last time, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I'm hopefully that's going to be the same way going in.
Bo Giesman, are you excited?
Yeah, I'm going to be very excited. I'm not going to work. I'm going to sit at home and hang one on. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
I'm excited. WrestleMania, it's always a spectacle, even when it sucks. Now, the real question is, what kind of grade are you predicting? Like, when it's all said and done, next Thursday, when we're doing the podcast.
No, I won't be here, but I'll send you my grade.
Okay, motherfucker, just pretend you're here in the hypothetical that I'm telling.
I'll be here in the spirit.
So, what kind of grade do you expect to give it?
C.
Bo?
I'm going to go with a B.
I think B. I think I'm going to go with a B. I think that second night looks pretty stacked.
It's a lot going on.
Sunday is has the matches that
I'm almost kind of mad that my wife's going to be on Saturday night and I'm going to have to hole up in my office on Sunday night.
Saturday is the question marks. There's a couple of
there's some real turds on Saturday
and
night.
That's where I'm going to be.
I could see Saturday night being a D and
Sunday being a B
or an A.
Okay, whatever.
Most of Saturday night being a D.
Saturday night is the one night I'm worried about.
So you remember
matches? I'm worried about that.
You remember a couple years ago during the pandemic when we were all locked down and it was Edge versus Orton. Everybody thought that match was going to be a banger because they were going to fight throughout the entire stadium, and it lasted like 35 minutes, and everybody wanted to be asleep by the end of it. But the AJ Styles Undertaker thing fucking ruled, and it was like 22 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just really about execution because Edge versus Orton should rule. AJ Styles versus Undertaker in a graveyard.
I didn't think that would
without
be
a
good
crowd,
at all, and it was arguably one of the best matches of the night.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that they're going to do things right.
I can see. I'm more excited for AJ versus Edge than I was for Edge versus Orton. Way more.
Oh yeah, Edge laid it out. This is basically a match that's been 20 years in the making. They're pretty much still in their prime.
Give
really, them 20 minutes and let them.
You take out that tag women's match, and I'm into every single match on Sunday night. Knoxville Zane, McAfee Theory, RK Bro, Alpha Academy, and Street Profits, Edge AJ. Lashley Omos, which even if it sucks, it's not going to last longer than 4 minutes, and Ronda Rousey versus...
That's Saturday.
No, sorry. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar.
Sunday's going to be the...
Hell yeah.
Sunday should be the shit. Saturday is going to be... Oof. I might have to start drinking to get through that.
Hey, I got a confession for you. I didn't do birthdays this week. I forgot. I got a kid now, dude.
This is
He's dropping the ball over here, blaming his child.
For Murray the Merman Murray,
Check.
for Patriot Pat,
Check.
for Sideways in Time Podcast,
Check.
for Grandel in St. Louis Wrestling, or Wrestling at the Grandel,
Double check.
St. Louis Wrestling, for Tender Mahal, I guess I can say his real name now, it's Joey O'Farrell.
Check.
For Two Beer, Zach Pullman, we love you, we miss you, brother. For
Check.
Vice,
Big
Nate Dogg
looking
in the
in.
house,
Stepping in
for
for
Jason
Jack.
Cornelius
Check.
Bell, Black
Beach
Lives
Wild
Matter,
bitches.
I'm Bill Vagey, and everybody boo the heels.
Boo!